My fiancée whispered to her mom at dinner, "Don't worry, I'll divorce him after 2 years and take half." I heard everything through the baby monitor she forgot was on. I smiled through dessert. The next morning, my lawyer had already filed. I, 32 male, am an electrician. Not glamorous, but I've been in the trade since I was 19, worked my way up from apprentice to running my own small contracting business over 13 years. Nothing crazy, maybe 5 regular employees depending on the season, but I own my house outright, inherited from my grandpa 3 years ago, paid off the remaining $47,000 mortgage myself within 18 months, have decent savings in the mid-5 figures, and drive a truck that's actually paid off. By most standards, I'm comfortable. Not rich, just stable. The kind of stable that comes from working 60-hour weeks for a decade. My fiancée and I had been together for 3 years, engaged for 8 months. Wedding was supposed to be in 4 months. We'd already put deposits down on the venue. The caterer sent save-the-dates to about 70 people. Her parents were paying for the flowers and her dress. I was covering everything else because, well, her family isn't exactly flush with cash. Her mom never really warmed up to me. From day one, there were little comments. "Oh, you work with your hands? That must be hard on you." Or, "My daughter had such ambitious dreams in college. Funny how life works out." Or, my personal favorite, "I just worry she'll end up having to work forever if she's not careful about her future." Always said with this tight smile that didn't reach her eyes. I brushed it off as typical overprotective mom stuff. Thought she'd come around eventually. Last Saturday, we hosted a small dinner at my place. Her parents came over. Her dad, 61M, is actually decent, quiet guy, former factory worker, just kind of goes along with whatever his wife says. Doesn't seem to have strong opinions about much. We've been setting up the spare bedroom as a potential nursery since we've been talking about kids after the wedding. This was a big deal to me. I grew up an only child, always wanted a family of my own. She knew this. We'd had long conversations about names, about how we'd raise them, about the kind of parents we wanted to be. I'd installed a baby monitor system earlier that week just to test the audio quality. One of those fancy ones that connects to Wi-Fi and saves recordings automatically in case you want to check on things later. The receiver unit was sitting on my kitchen counter plugged in, and honestly, I'd forgotten it was even on. The little green light was so small I never noticed it. After dinner, her mom wanted to see the nursery setup. Said she wanted to visualize her future grandchildren's room. They went upstairs together while I was loading the dishwasher after the main course. Her dad had wandered into the living room to watch whatever game was on. I could hear the TV faintly from the kitchen. That's when I heard it, crystal clear through the monitor speaker. Her mom's voice first. "Sweetie, are you sure about this? He's nice enough, I suppose, but he's just an electrician. You have a degree. You had options. You deserve someone with real money, someone who can give you the life you were meant to have." Then my fiancé, in a tone I'd never heard before, casual, almost bored, "Mom, relax. I've done the math. His house is worth at least $380,000 based on what's selling around here, and he's got savings. He won't tell me exactly how much, but I've seen statements. After 2 years of marriage, I can file for divorce, claim half of everything, including half his business value, and walk away completely set up. It's not like I'm going to be stuck with him forever. 2 years. That's nothing." Her mom laughed. Actually laughed, this delighted little chuckle. "Smart girl. Just like I raised you. Just make sure you don't get pregnant before then. That complicates the exit. Kids mean custody arrangements and child support calculations and all sorts of mess." "Obviously, Mom. I've been on birth control this whole time. The good kind, the implant. He has no idea. He thinks we've been actively trying for 4 months now. Gets so excited every time I'm a few days late. And you let him think that. It's kind of funny, actually. He bought pregnancy tests in bulk. Has them under the bathroom sink. Checks every time like a little kid waiting for Christmas." They both laughed. I stood there, dish in hand, water running. My brain just buffered. You know that feeling when your computer freezes and you're staring at that spinning wheel, waiting for something to happen? Like that. Except the spinning wheel was in my chest. They came back downstairs a few minutes later, all smiles. My fiancée kissed my cheek and said the nursery was coming along beautifully. Her mom complimented my paint color choices. I served dessert, a cheesecake I'd made from scratch because I knew it was her mom's favorite. Smiled through every bite. Complimented her mom's earrings. Made small talk about the weather, about her dad's garden, about the upcoming wedding. Inside, I was running calculations of my own. 3 years. 3 years I'd loved this woman. Supported her when she lost her job last year. Covered her bills for 5 months while she found herself. Let her move in rent-free 18 months ago because we're going to be married anyway, what's mine is yours. Paid for the engagement ring that cost me 4 months of savings. Custom designed with a stone that matched her grandmother's. Introduced her to my family, who adored her. My mom had already started calling her daughter, and she was timing me like a slow cooker recipe. 2 years and done. After they left, she kissed my cheek and said she was tired, going to bed early. Long day, big dinner, you know how it is. I said I'd be up soon, just wanted to watch some TV and wind down. She went upstairs without looking back. I sat in the dark living room until 2 a.m. The TV was on, but I couldn't tell you what was playing. Just sat there, turning it over and over in my head, wondering if I'd misheard, knowing I hadn't, wondering if there was context I was missing, knowing there wasn't. Around midnight, I went to the baby monitor app on my phone. The recording was right there. Time-stamped. Saved to the cloud. I listened to it 3 more times, each time hoping it would sound different. Each time it sounded exactly the same. Sunday morning, I waited until she left for brunch with her sister. She never invited me to those, always said it was girl time, and then I called my buddy who went through a nasty divorce 2 years back. He'd lost half of everything, including a house he'd owned before the marriage, because his ex's lawyer was apparently some kind of shark. Dude, why are you asking about divorce lawyers? You're not even married yet. I told him. All of it. He was quiet for a long time. Get a lawyer. Today if you can. Don't wait. He gave me the number for the guy who'd helped him minimize the damage. Said he was expensive, but worth it. I called Monday morning, first thing. Got an appointment for that afternoon. The lawyer was direct. Older guy, gray hair, office that looked like it hadn't been updated since the 90s, but walls covered in certificates and awards. He listened to the whole story, asked to hear the recording, and then leaned back in his chair. Here's the good news, he said. You're not married. She has no claim to anything. The house was yours before. The relationship, titled solely in your name. Your business, same thing. Pre-existing asset. Your savings, assuming they were earned before cohabitation or clearly separate, same deal. If you end this now, she walks away with what she came in with, which is, based on what you've told me, 2 suitcases and student loan debt. And the bad news? She's been living with you for 14 months. In this state, that creates tenant rights. You can't just change the locks. You have to give her proper written notice to vacate. 30 days minimum. 30 days of living with someone who is planning to rob me. I know it's not ideal, but do it by the book. Don't give her any ammunition. Don't touch her belongings. Don't raise your voice. Don't do anything that could be spun as harassment or intimidation. Document everything. I nodded, paid his retainer, went home. Monday afternoon, I sat at my kitchen table and drafted a formal notice. Typed it up professional, cited the relevant statutes, stated she had 30 days to vacate the premises. Printed 2 copies, one for her, one for my records. Put hers in an envelope. She came home from work around 6 p.m., still in her business casual, heels clicking on the hardwood. Saw me sitting at the table, and her eyes went to the envelope immediately. Something flickered across her face. Just for a second. What's that? You look weird. Everything okay? I slid the envelope across the table. The engagement is off. You have 30 days to find somewhere else to live. She actually laughed. This surprised, almost condescending laugh like I told a joke that didn't land. What? Babe, what are you talking about? I heard you. Saturday night. Baby monitor was on. Every word you said to your mom about divorcing me after 2 years and taking half. The birth control. The pregnancy tests. All of it. The color drained from her face. Not gradually, all at once like someone had pulled a plug. Her mouth opened and closed. For maybe 5 seconds, she didn't make a sound. That was taken out of context. We were just talking hypothetically. You know how my mom gets, she says crazy things, and I just go along with it. Hypothetically about not getting pregnant, because it would complicate your exit strategy? Hypothetically, about the implant you've been hiding from me? Hypothetically, about how funny it is that I bought pregnancy tests? I was venting. She was in one of her moods, and 30 days. I'd appreciate it if you started packing. I got up, walked past her, and went to the spare bedroom. The nursery. Stood there looking at the crib I'd already assembled, the mobile with little elephants I'd picked out myself. Slept there that night, and the next, and every night for the next 30 days. Update 1 week later. Week 1 post notice. Things have escalated exactly how you'd expect. First few days were all tears and desperate reconciliation attempts. She'd knock on the spare bedroom door at all hours. Please, can we just talk? This is insane. I love you. It was stupid girl talk. It didn't mean anything. I stopped responding after day 2. Just put in earbuds and focused on work. Then came the anger phase. Wednesday night, she cornered me in the kitchen while I was making a sandwich. You're really doing this? Throwing away 3 years over one conversation you weren't even supposed to hear? Do you know how pathetic that is? Spying on me with a baby monitor like some paranoid freak. The monitor was on for testing purposes. In my house. You chose to have that conversation in a room where it was installed. Your house. Your house. That's all you care about, isn't it? Your precious house. Your precious money. What about US? What about everything we built? What did we build exactly? I paid for everything. You lived rent-free, ate my food, drove my truck when yours was in the shop, and apparently spent the whole time calculating your payout. She picked up a coffee mug from the counter, one of mine actually from a job site grand opening, and threw it at the wall. It shattered about 2 feet from my head. Ceramic everywhere. I gave you 3 years of my life. I pulled out my phone, took a photo of the broken mug, the wall, the spread of debris. I'm documenting that for my lawyer. Please don't destroy anything else in my home. She screamed. Just wordless frustration, hands balled into fists. Then she stormed upstairs and slammed the bedroom door hard enough to rattle the frame. Thursday, her mom called. I let go to voicemail. Listened to it once, saved it to the cloud along with everything else. I don't know what lies you think you heard, but you are making a massive mistake. My daughter is the best thing that ever happened to you, and you know it. You'd be nothing without her. If you think you can just throw her away like garbage, you got another thing coming. We know people, lawyers, important people. You're going to regret this for the rest of your miserable little life. Send a copy to my lawyer with a note for the file. Friday, I pulled into my driveway after work to find her dad's truck parked there. He was sitting on my front porch with her, both of them looking like they prepared statements. Her dad stood when I got out. He's a big guy, not fat, just large, the kind of build that used to swing heavy equipment all day. Intimidating when he wants to be. We need to talk, son. I'm not your son. And there's nothing to talk about that isn't already being handled through proper channels. Proper channels. He spat the words like they tasted bad. You're kicking my daughter out over nothing. A private conversation that wasn't meant for your ears. Women say crazy things sometimes. Doesn't mean anything. A private conversation about defrauding me. About marrying me specifically to divorce me and take my assets. About lying about trying to have children. That's not nothing. That's criminal intent. Her mom's voice crackled through his phone. Of course, she was listening in. You can't prove anything. It's your word against ours. You probably edited that recording. The recording has metadata showing when and where it was captured. The baby monitor company can verify the timestamp and location data. But honestly, I don't need to prove anything to anyone. We're not married. She has no legal claim to my property. I'm giving her a legally required 30-day notice to vacate because I'm doing this the right way. Unlike her, that shut them up. Her dad's jaw worked like he was chewing on words he couldn't quite spit out. Then he tried the other approach, the reasonable dad routine. Look, maybe things got said that shouldn't have been said. Emotions run high. People vent, especially to their mothers. But my daughter loves you. I've seen it. She talks about you constantly, about your future together. Can't you just talk this out? Maybe see a counselor together? She specifically said she's been lying about trying to have a baby with me. That she has an implant. That she finds it funny that I get excited about potential pregnancy. She's been watching me hope for something she's actively preventing for months. There's no counseling for that. My fiancé, ex-fiancée, I had to keep reminding myself, burst into tears. The pretty kind, not the snotty kind. She'd gotten good at those. I was scared. I wasn't ready for kids yet. That doesn't mean I don't love you. Then you should have told me you weren't ready, instead of letting me buy bulk pregnancy tests and get excited every month. Instead of talking about names with me. Instead of letting me set up a nursery. I walked past them into my house, closed the door, locked it. They stood on the porch for another 10 minutes, her mom screeching through the phone, her dad trying to be the voice of reason, my ex alternating between crying and yelling. Eventually, they left. The dirty tricks started the following week. First, I noticed things going missing. Small things at first. A nice multi-tool I kept by the garage door. Then some hand tools from my workshop. Then I came home to find my toolbox in the bedroom. The expensive one with the specialized equipment I use for certain jobs had been emptied. Hundreds of dollars worth of equipment just gone. I confronted her. She claimed she had no idea what I was talking about. She'd never touched my stupid tools. But I found some of them in her car. She'd parked on the street, not in my driveway, and I happened to glance in as I walked by. Called the police on the non-emergency line, filed a report. They couldn't do much since we were technically still cohabitating, but the report went on record. Then came the utility stunt. She called the electric company pretending to be me, said I was moving and needed everything shut off immediately. My two-factor authentication saved me. They called my cell to verify before processing. I confirmed I was not moving and flagged the account for potential fraud. Confronted her again. She denied it. I called back, got them to confirm the caller ID from the attempt. Her cell phone number. That's fraud, I said. You're committing actual crimes now. Do you understand that? Prove it. They won't do anything. Your word against mine, as always. It's not my word. It's phone records. She just shrugged. 22 days left, right? Better hope nothing else goes wrong. That's when I started sleeping with my important documents in the room with me. Social Security card, birth certificate, business paperwork, the deed to the house. All in a lockbox under the bed. Update 2. 3 weeks later. Day 28. She still hadn't fully moved out. Most of her clothes were gone, boxes stacked everywhere, but she was dragging her feet on purpose, making every remaining day as uncomfortable as possible. The psychological warfare was constant. She'd accidentally leave food out to spoil and attract bugs. Broke a dish every few days, always slipped out her hands. Left the water running overnight once. Had loud speakerphone conversations with her mom at 2 a.m. right outside my bedroom door, where they dissect everything wrong with me. I documented all of it. Photos, timestamps, notes. My lawyer said to keep building the record. Day 26, her brother showed up. I'd never met him. She rarely talked about him, just mentioned once that he'd had some trouble, and they weren't close. Suddenly there he was in my driveway, big dude in a sleeveless shirt, arms covered in ink, driving a lifted truck that probably cost more than my annual salary. He didn't come to the door, just walked around my property slowly, looked at the windows, took photos with his phone, walked up to my neighbor who was getting his mail, and started asking questions. How long's that guy lived here? He ever caused problems? What do you know about him? My neighbor, bless him, came over immediately after. Some guy's asking about you. Seemed sketchy. I called the non-emergency police line. Explained the situation. An officer came out, talked to the brother, told him to stay off my property. The brother complied, but not before yelling from his truck that I'd regret treating his sister like this. And people like me get what's coming. Filed that report too. Day 29. The legal letter arrived. Her family had actually hired a lawyer. A real one, judging by the letterhead. The letter claimed my ex had equitable interest in my property due to her substantial contributions to the household over 14 months. It demanded I either allow her to remain in the home indefinitely or compensate her $45,000 for her investment in the relationship and reasonable expectation of marital assets. $45,000 for living rent-free, buying groceries occasionally, and planning to divorce me. My lawyer wasn't worried. This is a scare tactic. She has no equitable interest. That doctrine requires actual financial contribution to acquisition or improvement of the property. She contributed neither. We'll respond formally and cite the relevant case law. His response letter was 3 pages of legal precedent explaining exactly why her claim had no merit. He also included a note that we had recorded evidence of her stated intent to enter the marriage fraudulently for the purpose of asset extraction, and that any continued harassment could result in counter-litigation. That bought me a few days of peace. Day 30. 5 p.m. deadline. At 4:47 p.m., her brother's truck pulled up. She loaded the last of her boxes in silence. I watched from the window, didn't go outside. She looked up at the house once, just for a second, then got in the truck and drove away. I changed the locks that night, called a locksmith, paid cash, got everything rekeyed, reset the garage code, installed 2 more security cameras, one covering the driveway and one covering the back door. Slept in my own bed for the first time in a month. But she wasn't done. Final update, 6 weeks later. 2 weeks after she moved out, I got served with papers. Small claims court. She was suing me for $9,800, just under the $10,000 limit, for personal property wrongfully retained and financial contributions to the household. Her itemized list was something else. Groceries she'd bought over 14 months. She estimated no receipts. A lamp she claimed was hers, but I'd literally bought at a hardware store 5 years ago. A blender that was a gift from my mom. Emotional investment in a relationship, which she'd somehow assigned a dollar value of $3,000. My lawyer filed a response. We showed up to court with documentation. My deed, bank statements showing I paid every bill. The recording, transcribed and certified. Photos of the tools she'd stolen, along with the police report. The fraudulent utility cancellation attempt. The judge was a no-nonsense woman in her 60s who looked like she'd seen every scam in the book. She reviewed the materials, asked my ex a few pointed questions. Ma'am, this itemized list includes emotional investment valued at $3,000. Can you explain what that means? I gave him 3 years of my life. My time, my energy, my love. That has value. That's not a compensable claim in this court. Do you have any receipts for these alleged grocery purchases? No, but I definitely bought groceries. While living rent-free in his home, we were engaged. Engaged people share expenses. Did you pay any rent, any mortgage contribution, any utilities? Silence. Then quietly no. And you're claiming he owes you money. My lawyer stood up. Your Honor, we'd also like to enter into evidence a recording made on the plaintiff's own admission. The judge held up her hand. I've reviewed the transcript in your filing. I don't need to hear the recording. She looked at my ex for a long moment. Case dismissed. Plaintiff to pay court costs. My ex's face went through about 5 emotions in 3 seconds. She started to argue, but her lawyer put a hand on her arm. Smart move. The judge looked like she was about one outburst away from finding someone in contempt. Outside the courthouse, her mom was waiting. She'd apparently driven her since the brother wasn't available. The second she saw me, she started in. This isn't over. You think you won? You've ruined her life. She's living in our basement. Because of you. She can't afford anything. She can't afford anything because she spent 3 years expecting to take half of what I'd earned instead of building something herself. That's not my problem. You're a monster. Cold and heartless. No wonder she wanted to leave you. She wanted to leave me in 2 years with half my assets. She said so herself. You were there. You laughed. That shut her up. I walked to my truck, got in, drove home. But the harassment didn't stop entirely. Over the next month, I got 3 flat tires. Could have been coincidence, but the security camera caught a car, matching her brother's description, driving slowly past my house at 2 a.m. the night before one of them. No clear shot of the driver, nothing actionable, but I knew. Then the review bombing started. My business has an online profile. Suddenly I had 6 one-star reviews from accounts that had never reviewed anything before, all posted within the same week, all vaguely complaining about unprofessional behavior and wouldn't recommend. I reported them as fraudulent, got 3 removed, but 3 stayed up. Dropped my rating from 4.8 to 4.4. Then a call to my biggest client, a property management company I'd worked with for years. Someone claiming to be a concerned former employee called their office to report that I was under investigation for business irregularities. Complete fabrication, but they still called me to ask about it. Had to explain the whole situation. They believed me. We'd worked together too long for them not to, but it was humiliating. That's when I went nuclear. Had my lawyer send cease and desist letters to my ex, her mother, her father, and her brother. All of them, citing harassment, tortious interference with business relations, and defamation. The letter made clear that any further contact with me, my clients, or my business associates would result in immediate litigation seeking damages. Her mom called me one last time after receiving it. You think a piece of paper scares us? You think. This call is being recorded. You've been formally notified to cease contact. Any further communication is harassment under state law. If you call me again, speak to me in public, contact my clients, or appear on my property, I will pursue criminal charges and civil damages. This is your final warning. I hung up. The call stopped. The reviews stopped appearing. The flat tire stopped. Heard through mutual friends what happened after. She's still living with her parents, working some retail job that doesn't cover her student loans. Her mom tells everyone who'll listen that I'm the villain, that I stole her daughter's future. Her dad apparently doesn't talk about it at all, just changes the subject. Her brother got picked up on an unrelated warrant a few weeks back. Turns out the trouble she'd mentioned was an old assault charge that caught up with him. The last thing I heard was that she'd started dating some guy she met online. Moved pretty fast, apparently. Her mom's already posting about what a real man he is and how her daughter finally found someone who treats her right. Hope he's got a good lawyer. As for me, I'm getting there. Dismantled the nursery. It's a home office now. Good for running the business, handling paperwork, that kind of thing. Kept the elephant mobile, though. Don't know why. Just couldn't throw it away. It's in a box in the closet. I'm not dating. My therapist says that's fine, that trust rebuilds on its own timeline. Some nights I still think about the good parts, the early stuff before I knew. Then I remember the baby thing, the way she laughed about the pregnancy tests, and it all evaporates pretty quick. Lost maybe $4,000 total between the lawyer fees, the review damage, and the client I lost from the phone campaign. Could have been worse. A lot worse if I'd actually married her. My lawyer said something that stuck with me. Most people in your situation don't find out until they're already 2 years in and losing half of everything. You got lucky. Lucky. That's one word for it. The house is quiet now. Too quiet sometimes. But it's mine. Really mine, in a way it wasn't before. And nobody's calculating its value against a 2-year exit strategy anymore. That's worth something.